Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Lots of work to do. I've been working on getting the playtest build ready, and I guess working on the playtest build is not exactly correct. I'm basically working on all the supporting systems for all the stuff that I'll be launching together. So the Discord, the Patreon, all that stuff. The interesting thing is, since I want to give Patreon members early access to the playtest builds, I needed a way of distributing Steam keys for the playtest to Patreon members. And, you know, that's something that sounds like it should be easy, but it's not. So I had to find a solution for that and get that all configured. I think it's working now. So the idea is that if you sign up for Patreon during the exclusive playtest window, you'll get a Steam key emailed to you that you can redeem and play the playtest. Otherwise, you can wait until the playtest goes public, and you can just grab it from the Steam page directly. So I've been doing all that stuff off of stream. I think the Alchemortis itself, the game, is in a pretty good spot for playtest purposes. There's a couple of things that I want to do on this stream for the menus that are remaining, and then we're going to work on some content. But, you know, before we go too deep into that, again, Alchemortis is the game I'm working on today. Playtest will be here sooner than you think, so you can go ahead and wishlist that. I would appreciate that. It's the first item in the description below. I also have my Udemy courses. This one is the co-op online multiplayer course in Godot 4. So yeah, if you're interested in learning how to build games in the Godot engine, I've got a number of courses, so check those out. Those are linked in the description below as well. And yeah, that's it. We can get right into it. And that's my workflow that I was working on. All right. What is the deal here? Let me just check some things. I want to mute the audio. Okay. All right. Hello, Adam. Welcome back. Good to see you again, as always. 44th. Wow, I had 43 viewers already. Welcome back, Meep. Zabraz, hello. Welcome, welcome. V, welcome back. Stressed at work. Oh, no. Sometimes work does do be like that. Hello, Yeet. Welcome. Also stressed at work. I am also stressed at work. I have a number of customers that are begging for a playtest and keep pressuring me and bullying me into getting it done as quickly as possible. So I've been working around the clock with no sleep and no food to meet the demands of my clients. Good evening, Night Raven Games, to you. Good morning, Emerson. I think I'm just tired at work, yeah. Hello, Neozoid, welcome back. Good to see you. Hello, Kzori. Always good to see you. Our favorite niche E Necromancer is back. There you go. Hello, RN Genesis. Welcome. I always think like RNG Genesis, but that's not right. I think it's easy through Steam. I used to be a Patreon of Watt, and he gave me a playtest key for Isle of Goblin on Steam. Yeah, the big thing is like automating it, because if somebody joins, like if the exclusive playtest lasts 2 weeks and somebody joins a week into it, I would either have to manually like go and watch the Patreon list and make sure to email that person myself, or I set up a workflow. You guys know Zapier. I didn't use Zapier. I used a Zapier alternative, but it's the same concept. And you can set up these flows that hook into a bunch of different third-party providers, and you can like pass data around different systems. So that's how I'm doing that. The Discord will launch at the same time as the playtest and the Patreon, so all of it is coming at once in a big ol' marketing push. How can we make your work experience smoother? We are sorry about the crunch time. Here's a pizza party. Yeah. What do you mean by no food? It was just a joke. It was just a joke. No double quarter pounder heresy. Kojima collab when? We'll see. I'm going to be doing some collabs with some other game devs in the space coming up soon, so just stay tuned for all that, I suppose. Anyway, what I need to do? Add full screen mode to option menu, add tutorial to pause menu, and then we're going to work on a fryer. So let's do that. Add full screen mode to options menu. This is something that always gets me messed up. Where is it even? Full screen? Am I just... Oh gosh. Oh, mode, here we go. Full screen, okay. So we're gonna create a debug override for this. Can I move this up? Nope. We'll change the mode to full screen. Display server window mode. On Windows, multi-window full screen mode has one pixel border of the rendering environment defaults clear color. Multi-window full screen mode. Okay, well, let's just do this. So we've got full screen. So now we can do, let's see. Display server window get mode. I think that's what I need. Window get mode returns the mode of the given window. Oh. Okay, this should be relatively easy. I just needed to read up on that. So we go to options options utils here. Let's do this. Public static bool is full screen. Get, we're gonna do display server dot window get mode. I hope it's just gonna be ID 0. Oh, that's the default, so yeah. Equals display server window mode full screen. Okay, so that should be it, and then we can go to our options menu here. Boom. Okay, this is full screen. Full screen. These are going to need to change. Layout, container sizing, expand. There we go. Node, private, button, full screen, toggle button. Got to get my casing correct here. All right, on full screen, toggle button pressed. I think that's all I need to do, and then I need to call update display. And then in here, all right, let's see if that works. Oh, did I miss your message? Hello, hello, A the Ant. Wow, I'm having difficulty talking today. It's all right. Hello, Snupbill. Thank you so much for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciate that. We've all got yummers here. We love the yummers message. Thank you again. Very generous and always good to see you. Deep fryer? Maybe. We love a strategic collab to use as marketing. Yep, we do. I was also joking. Gotcha. Did you let Kojima scan your foot? No. I don't think my feet are quality enough for Kojima games. I can show you if you guys want. Yeah, thank you, Night Raven Games. I don't know why I had such difficulty finding that. Anyway, full screen on. That 1 pixel border is very weird. I'm gonna have to look up how to fix that. That's always a problem. I don't know why. Why is that a problem in Windows? My default clear color is set to be the proper color. I'm gonna figure out how to get rid of that little 1 pixel border, but the full screen button works. That's the most important part. Oh, do you guys like the settings button that I have on the menu here? It's just a lantern. Anyway. Would be glad to hear what is the gameplay loop that you have planned for this game. Hello, NetK. The gameplay loop is basically you go into the map and you grow your power by visiting these nodes. You engage in combat, which are basically like power checks against however you've configured your board. And then you fight a boss automatically once this bar fills up here. And that will continue on over several different iterations of different bosses until you get to the end. So it's a traditional roguelike loop, or yeah, roguelite loop, where the run is going to take maybe 30 to 45 minutes. And you just try to have as good of a run as possible, try to beat the enemies, right? Hello, Aniki, welcome back. Imagine being good at talking couldn't be me. A short series explaining each card would be cool format, I think. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting. Did I hear feet? Hello, Pedro. A religious guy once told me some ancient philosophy. I said, wow, that's deep, Friar. Yeah. Patreon top tier subscription. Oh my gosh. This chat is devolving. UI for this game is so immersive. Thank you. Yeah, I like it. I like how it's turning out. Nodes like Godot? Yeah, basically. It's cool UI and all, but I don't know if it's ideal not to see each button outlined to begin with. I can imagine myself trying to find a button. Yeah, that might be a problem. There are various ways to fix that, but I'm going to see what people say about the playtest first. I imagine people who first load up the menu, what's probably going to happen is they're probably going to be like, wait, what am I supposed to do here? Until that outline kicks in. And then it's like, oh, I'm hoping that will get people to mouse over the things. Once you, I think, yeah, on first startup, people are probably going to be confused, which is fine. I think this is kind of like a player education moment as well, where it's like, oh, this is how the UI works. You have to click on environmental objects, right? And once you understand that, then I think it's going to become easier. Because it's really not that complex. It's not like the UI is super complex in terms of what you can click on. And once you've visited all the events and stuff, you'll kind of know what's going on here, you know? Like, you might be confused the first time you see this, but when you see those outlines, you say, oh, okay, right. Now, I could trigger those outlines earlier as well, or make them more frequent, but we'll see. I definitely think because it's not like a traditional UI, no matter what I do, it's probably going to be a little bit jarring. But, like I said, I think that... Did I miss shading that? We'll fix that. I think that once you learn how the UI works, it'll be pretty easy to use afterwards. Okay, I think the full screen option works. Dealing with a bad cold? I'm sorry to hear that. I've got some friends and family that are currently dealing with very bad flus / colds right now too. How do I get rid of this cold? I don't know if this is like woo-woo or whatever, but I found just like overdosing on vitamins helps. So you just get like a bunch of vitamin supplements, and I don't know, like I said, it might just be totally placebo, but whenever I'm sick, I just pound those, and drink that with some electrolyte water. And it does seem to make a difference. Again, whether that's placebo or not, I don't know. But the thing about the placebo effect is that if it feels like it's working, it's better than it's better than not being able to do anything. So yeah, we'll see what the playtest feedback is like. I may have to change the UI, but everything's open for changing, so nothing's set in stone. That's the purpose that's why I'm doing a playtest so early in development, is because you know, I want to correct these issues early on before I get too far deep into the game. Is the playtest tied to the Patreon? There will be an exclusive early playtest period for Patreon members only, and that will last maybe a week or two, and then the playtest will be open to the public for a period of time after that as well. So if you're not in Patreon, that's okay. You'll have access to the playtest. It's just the Patreon members will get early access to the playtest. Also, I'll mention this again, the top tier of the Patreon is going to allow you or give you the option of being included in the game's credits when it releases. Yeah, I'm gonna add a title card. Yeah, I just haven't written that down. I'll definitely have to do that. Man, this list keeps getting bigger. The guy on the internet said to keep taking pills until the pain goes away. You're welcome. Advocating for overdosing. Well, it's vitamins. I don't know. Do you use the default GitHub option for version control? I heard GitHub is terrible for assets. I think... No, it's not. I don't think it's GitHub specifically that's terrible for assets. I think Git is the thing that has a hard time with larger assets. But there's Git large file storage, which you can use, which GitHub offers like paid storage amounts that you can have for your large file storage. I don't use that because my pixel game assets are not very big. And so I just commit the assets directly with Git. This is the moment that the Alchemortis dev got people to OD. Will there be some kind of meta progression? Yes, there will be meta progression. I just haven't figured out what form that's going to take. I think I almost kind of like, okay, this might maybe trigger people, but I'm thinking doing like a battle pass format. Now hear me out with the battle pass, right? It's not going to be a paid battle pass. That's not what I mean. But you know how in games that have battle passes, you like level up over time. And as you level up, you unlock different milestones that give you new weapons or new skins or whatever. I was thinking about taking that format and doing like more of an XP based meta progression. And then you can go from like level 0 to 100 or whatever. And all along that timeline of progression, as you level up, you unlock new cards. You unlock, if there's going to be multiple characters in the game, you can unlock new starting characters. Maybe some of the unlocked can be tied to certain challenges, like deal X amount of poison in a single run or whatever. And so it's kind of like a timeline continuum. Because typically like meta progression roguelike games involve some kind of currency, right? So you go into the game, you unlock some currency, and then you spend the currency however you want. And that can be interesting. And maybe there will be some of that in this game, but I do like the idea of like just having like a linear timeline progression that just unlocks things at specified intervals, but maybe that's not a good idea. Something I'm thinking about, that's all. Random question. For a game dev tutorial series, how long do you think each part should be? I try to keep my tutorials like my course content. All of the lessons, I try to make them somewhere in the range of 15 to like 30 minutes. 30 minutes being on the high end. I try to stick around 15 minutes because I think 15 minutes is a perfect amount of time. Like for people to sit down and say, okay, I want to get one lesson done, right? I've got a half hour until I need to go somewhere or whatever. So I can just get one lesson in. I like to chunk them up that way so people don't feel like they have to stop in the middle of the lesson and lose all the context and then come back to it later. And the lesson's an hour long, so you're like, wait, what were we doing again? So I try to make all my course lessons like 15 minutes. Here's what we're doing in this lesson, and then we'll finish that objective in that lesson, and then that's a full, module essentially. And then you can move on to the next lesson a day later and not really have to pick up where you left off, if that makes sense. How long have I worked on this? Since March. Since early March. Doesn't Acebright have its own file format? You can track those changes and it would make sense to do so. Right, yeah, it does. I love games that do that kind of thing. Makeway is a good example of that. I'll have to look that up, yeah. The Battle Pass thing sounds good. You could also have runs with modifiers that give XP, more XP than a regular run. Yeah, I think so. Battle Pass, but good. I don't know if it's possible, yeah. Super exciting getting that new level to see what kind of cool things were unlocked. Yeah, and like, I think that's a good player incentive too. Like, oh man, I just need, 100 more XP to unlock this really cool thing. And each run gives me, 200 XP. So I'm just going to play one more run and unlock that so I have it for next time. It's kind of like a carrot on a stick to keep people playing, or to make it, not to keep people playing, because obviously I don't really have an incentive to hook people as much as possible, but it's just that extra little bit of like dopamine hit, right? Like, oh, I can just do one more run and get this thing. I don't know what Git license is, Neozoid. I don't know what that is. This is Obsidian with the Kanban community plugin. Okay, so the full screen option is done. I want to add the tutorial to the pause menu now. Actually, let's just do tutorial. Public delegate, void tutorial requested, event handler. On tutorial requested. Okay, let's see if that works. Sorry if someone has asked already, but do you have a rough price in mind for Steam? I do, but it's largely going to be determined by how much content there is in the game. So I don't want to talk about a number right now because I don't want to set the wrong expectations, you know what I mean? we'll see how it goes. We'll also see the like what people say in the feedback. You know, a lot of times people will offer up like, I'd pay X amount of dollars for this, you know, and that can be useful feedback as well. Okay, can I show the tutorial here? Okay, that seems to work. All right, now we can get into some content. I want to do a friar for the villager faction. I'm thinking about doing this one. This might be a little bit difficult, but we'll figure it out. Okay. Like MIT license, Apache license. I mean, whatever license you... I guess I don't understand the question. Are you trying to set up a license for code that you're writing? That's largely just a judgment call of whatever license you want your code to be. If you're asking what... you're asking what license you can use for commercial projects? I stick with usually like MIT stuff, because some of the other licenses require weird like credits or attributions or whatever, and I don't want to deal with that. Yeah. You don't have to choose a license when you make a repo, Neozoid. The default assumed license is like there is no license, like it's copyrighted work that no one can use. You don't have to specify a license. There's a lot of misconception about copyright. You own the copyrights of anything that you create automatically. So there's no you don't need to register it with anything. There's no license that you need to advertise. Any work that you create is by default assumed to be you have the right and no one else can use it unless you give them permission. That's how copyright works. How often do you think about this game in general? All the time. All the time. I've got so many things that I want to do with it, but one thing at a time. Are you protecting or worried about all of your code and assets in the Godot package? No, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it, because at best, all you could do is like obfuscate them. But a sufficiently motivated person can get the assets regardless, so... I'm not terribly worried about it. Oh, that's a good point, Yeet. Yeah, the tutorial buttons. We'll address that in a second. If you have a free game with microtransactions, why would anyone pirate something like that? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So, Friar. Time to see if I embarrass myself yet again. So what I'm thinking is... This is already going weirdly, but let's see. Ah. Maybe this isn't going to be a good shape. What I wanted to do is have like Man, I don't know what to start with. Have like a beer mug or something. Like that. With his hand here. We're just going to do this very rough for now. We're just going to get this very rough for now. Just kind of block out everything. Gotta give him the classic, like, friar cut, you know what I mean? This is gonna be a problem. I wanted to give him, like, a big belly, but I don't have enough room for that, so maybe I can figure something out. Yeah, I don't know about this. Let's see. I feel like I don't have enough room over here. Let's do this. That looks better. Yeah, I mean, I think it's largely getting there. I just need to figure out... Let's get rid of this arm for now. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. We'll see. Of course, I need to have like a belt here of some kind. I actually do have room to move this over. I'll use a different color for this arm just so I can see it. Drawing pixel hands is very difficult. Maybe that works. That might work. I think the feet need some work, but we can do that in a second. Okay, it's getting there. Hello, Cody. Welcome back. Good to see you. In your C# Udemy course, you reference resources via string path to work around instantiating them without an infinite loop. Is this still the best solution to the problem? Yeah, for circular dependencies, I usually use some kind of string representation. I think it works better. But yeah, I don't know if there's a different way to do it. What's the difference between a friar and a priest? That is a good question. My understanding is that friars are more secluded. They're not necessarily dealing with day-to-day parochial issues. But I could be wrong. Getting closer to finishing my jam entry. Awesome. First jam I'm participating in. Excellent. Yeah. Hope it goes well. Good luck to you for the jam. Two-headed giant. Oh, that's an interesting, card idea. Firebelly looks like he's a good and honest guy. Thank you. Hello, PRD. I just wanted to say thanks for the great educational content for Godot. The code reviews helped me a lot in understanding good practices and how to approach my first project. Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to have another code review coming out soon-ish as well. So keep that, stay tuned for that, I guess. I keep saying stay tuned. It's fine. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that you found value in them. I don't know why pixel hands are so hard to draw. That's okay. I think he's getting there. I think he's getting there. Might use that color instead. Okay, alright. I think it's okay. I don't know what to do about the hand necessarily. Man. So goodness, this sucks. It's hard to get him holding this mug. In a way that fits with the style that I'm doing. It just looks bad. Oh gosh. Pixel hands. My enemy. I might just have to do something like that and call it good. Honestly, I think that's probably okay. I've been looking at it too long. I think it's okay. It's probably okay. Maybe I should take a deeper look at the code review series. I'm getting stuck in architecture hell. It can help, I think, yeah. That mead needs some froth. Oh, here we go again with the froth. Maybe I can add some froth here. I think that's okay. Pixel hands, man. Yeah, seriously. I'm an artist. Hands are the hardest to draw believably. They're basically another figure. Yeah. Lurk mode is on. All right. To be fair, pixels aren't exactly hand-shaped and vice versa. Yeah, true. Make a hand blob have a thumbs up, and I bet it would read better. Yeah. I think it's okay. I think it's okay now. I don't know how to do like a believable beer splash either. So we'll just keep it that way. What if you get rid of the mug handle, let him grab the mug directly? I could try that. Hey, how's it going? Just joined? Welcome, Sam Studio. It's going all right. Struggling to draw friar here. Yeah, froth, yeah. Welcome, Dragon Apple, by the way. A lamb holding a mug? Alright. You guys are trolling. I'm an artist. How learn C#? It's cool to see someone learn going the opposite way. Oh, yeah. Welcome, Smash Wall. Good to see you. A droplet is fine. Looks good. I think, you know, I mean, you guys know what point we're at, right? We're at the point of quit while I'm ahead, right, everybody? Quit while I'm ahead. Although I do think that I need to add maybe just like that little line there. Quit while I'm ahead, everybody. All right. I think it's okay. Friar. Now we got to figure out what kind of ability the Friar should have. So the Friar is an enemy card, meaning that it's on the Villager faction. So if anyone has any ideas for what you want the Friar to do, put them in the chat. I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we'll add the functionality for the Friar. We'll get him into the game. So yeah, any opinions on how he should function or what he should do? Again, put them in the chat. I'll be right back in just 3 minutes, and we will continue on. All right, I'm back. Spill, share beer to intoxicate buff neighboring villagers. Okay. I feel like a Friar would use holy damage or something. I don't have holy damage, but gets +2 attack if next to Barkeep or attacks faster. Oh, attacks faster is an interesting one. Yeah. That is an interesting ability. The problem is I already have... So I already have a Stein. Whoops, what is it called? What did I call it? Beer mug. So I already have a standalone like beer mug that does that. Basically, it gives... it creates a critical chance buff for minions on the board. So I kind of already have that. Reduce health but increase damage. Decrease crit chance but up damage. It's hard to crit with a buzz. That could work. The more drunk he is, the more his damage fluctuates, sometimes higher, sometimes lower, whatever drunk means in this context. I kind of like the idea of reducing the turn cooldown. Somehow. Let me think. I can go to my, let's see, whoops. I could do this. Board configuration editor. So these are all the villager cards we have minus the training dummy. So we've got the Barkeep. Projects to minion cards, deal 4 damage. We've also got where's the beer mug here? Increases the critical chance of minion cards by 5%. Some of these cards are very cute. Just trying to think, what can we do? I mean, I could make it do damage based on... Actually, we could do something ritual. Ritual... What other ritual items are on here? Lamb. I'm thinking maybe reduced turn cooldown if there's a ritual item in place. Because there's prayer beads here, which goes with the friar. How do you downshade the whole screen like that when the description is on screen? A shader? Yeah, it's a shader, yeah. So I have a fade shader that cycles through the colors in the color palette to do a fade out effect so that it keeps the color consistency. And basically the way that this dimming shader works is it just downs, what is the word I want to look for? It kind of like goes down to the next pixel for every pixel on screen. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, that's how it works. The Barkeep is looking clean. Thank you, yeah. I think the Barkeep looks good. I like the Mayor too. I think the Mayor turned out pretty good. Anyway, yeah, maybe we'll do turn cooldown reduction if there's a nearby ritual item. Oh, excuse me. Turn cooldown for each ritual card sounds good. Could get really OP. Yeah, I think so. So that's going to require creating a new ability, which is going to be interesting. I got to do some planning here. Let's get the card set up first. I don't currently have an ability that can just reduce the turn cooldown, generally speaking. But let's create the Friar resource. Oh, excuse me. Wow. Friar. Dimensions, it's a 2x2 with an excluded cell of 0, 1. We'll keep the turn cooldown at 10, is enemy, minion, ritual, critical chance, that's fine, okay. Okay, so we got the Friar. Now we gotta create the Friar script. Scripts, data, card, new file, Friar. Okay. Now we gotta figure out how to do turn cooldown reduction. How is that gonna work? Get turn cooldown. For each of our enchants and enchants. Get modified critical chance. I think I'd have to do it in here. Get turn cooldown. How am I gonna do this? I basically need to change... I think I need to modify that get turn cooldown. But what I'm gonna need to do is... I need to look at its abilities and have the ability modify the turn cooldown. Modified turn cooldown. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how I want to approach this. I could do it in a little bit of a hacky way here. So there's a couple of options. One, if I want to update the actual turn cooldown as it appears in the UI, I need to modify the return of this get turn cooldown here. The problem is I'm going to need the execution context so that I can run through all the abilities that could potentially modify the turn cooldown. And that's going to be a little bit hairy to do. The other thing I could do is not change the cooldown that's visibly shown on the UI, so it would always show 10. But then when the cooldown gets reset, I can just accelerate it by, you know, however many turns it needs to be accelerated by. What do I want to do here? Dang, this is going to be tough. Takes a shade down within the palette. I was just using canvas modulate. Oh yeah, that works. I mean, I'm just trying to stick to the colors that I have in my palette only. So, hello Zabraz. I'm a UE5 game dev, but I want to learn 2D, so I'm not leaving Unreal, but I'm thinking about learning Godot 2D. Is that a good idea? Do you think it's achievable? Yeah, I think so. I think if you already have game engine skills, I think a lot of the skills are transferable to other game engines. You'll just have to learn how to do things in the Godot way, but I think it'll be fine. Why am I not using a GD script? I just prefer C#, that's all. That's all. Shoot, this is going to be a difficult one. If I modified the turn cooldowns remaining... Turn cooldown remaining. Wow, this is tricky. Where is this called? It might be easier to do this in the reset cooldown here, maybe? Maybe not. Wow, I'm kind of stumped. I don't know how to do this. Just published my first Steam page, so excited. Very nice. Congratulations, Smash Wall. Very, very nice. Always an exciting feeling. Show default art. That's not relevant. I'm trying to think of a clever way to do this without ballooning the complexity here. I really think probably I just need to do it in this get turn cooldown here. Yeah, I think this is probably the best way to do it. Probably what I want to do is all right, let's just do it in a very naive way first, and then we'll figure it out. So I'm gonna need to do this. Var execution context is equal to context helper dot create execution context for card this. So we need an ability. Self-turn cooldown reduction. Actually, let's rename this. Rename to self-tag. Okay.
Computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Oh wait, I'm doing this wrong. Now I gotta get my bearings with this. Bear with me for a second. Self-turn, rename this. Okay. What? Hold on a second. Tag reset cooldown. No, I think this is wrong. We want this to be an eye ability magnitude. We'll get rid of this. Self-turn cooldown reduction. Eye ability magnitude. We'll get rid of the query options here. Okay, we need the execution result. Okay. I think the last thing to do here is we need another... Let's create a new file, eye turn cooldown modifier. Namespace game.data.ability. Submitted by game name shmup yourself for Bracky's Game Jam. Very nice. Very nice, Hari. Congratulations on submitting. Okay, so then in here, we're going to return minus magnitude. Okay, so now we got to do a composed new self tag turn cooldown reduction. Cooldown reduction ability. Dynamic magnitude ability. Dynamic magnitude ability, I guess. And then we need a query count provider. I'm going to get rid of the magnitude in here. Query count provider is equal to new query count provider. Query count provider dot query options dot tag filter is equal to tag. Query count provider dot query options dot query directions is equal to board inventory component dot adjacent. Cooldown reduction ability is equal to new self turn cooldown reduction 1. Oh, it doesn't like the magnitude. That's okay. I won't add the magnitude just yet then. Dynamic magnitude ability is equal to new dynamic magnitude ability Query count provider, cooldown reduction ability. Okay. Abilities.add query count provider. Dynamic magnitude ability. Scale for tier, we're going to get rid of that. I don't really have a good scaling to do here. Okay, and then this will be filter tag. Turn cooldown is reduced by 1 for each adjacent description utils. Create card tag keyword. Okay. I think that will work. Maybe. I have no idea. But anyway, for each var ability in getAllFlattened abilities .of type, I turn cooldown modifier. Actually, this is not going to work. This is very, very tricky. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. But I just need to figure out what the heck is going on. So the problem here fundamentally is that I need to be able to modify the turn cooldown outside of a combat context so that it updates in the UI. But I can't just do this for every iTurn cooldown modifier, because in the case of like this, which I just wrote, the cooldown is going to be reduced in accordance with how many adjacent ritual cards there are. So I can't just skip directly to the iTurn cooldown modifier, because that's not going to have the correct magnitude. The magnitude here needs to be updated. I actually don't know if this is going to work. I'm kind of tempted to abandon this right now, because it adds a ton of complexity here. I don't know how to get this to work. I really don't. I need this magnitude to be updated, but this magnitude can only be updated through an execution at this level here. So this query count provider will get executed, which will get the number of adjacent cards. And then the dynamic magnitude ability will adjust how much of the cooldown is being reduced based on that count. But this all needs to go through the execution state. What I could do is I could just execute it. But I don't really want to do ability executions out of step with how all the other ability executions are going. So yeah, that's why it's a little bit tricky. Trying to think if there's a better way to do this. I would have to add, I think, another layer of abstraction here. What I could do, for example, is instead of adding this to the list of abilities that gets executed whenever execution gets called in here, what I could do is I could do this. I could do like public override, or just public, I don't know, void execute arbitrary or something. Arbitrary. Here, protected read-only list, base card ability. I just don't think that that's going to work well. Further fragmenting the code base. I think I basically need a way of calling or updating ability states sort of out of band, out of step with the rest of everything. Which makes me wonder if I even want to use the ability system for this or not. This is a very tricky problem. Very, very tricky. I don't know. I think I have to think about this. What I can do for now is just give him some simple damage. Give him an ability that already exists. I need to come up with a better way of architecting that turn cooldown reduction without making a mess of my code base. There's the Friar, deal 9 damage. So let's just do... There we go. Just making sure that he gets added to the board. I'm not 100% sure how your ability system works, but could you make it to where the game checks for card abilities at the very start of the match and then triggers those abilities during execution? Hello, Rosebud Games. The way that it works is that the abilities are just triggered whenever the turn cooldown is done. So it will get a list of all the abilities to execute when the turn cooldown is finished, and then it will execute them in order. Which is not a problem, generally speaking, but if I have something that's like... So like, I have a different need now, which is that it's a set of abilities that actually needs to be configured when the turn is starting. Or when you're starting at 0. Or it's an ability that actually changes the configuration of the card, really, is what it is. Because this Friar needs to have its turns reduced if there's adjacent ritual cards. So I'm wondering if even the ability framework that I have is the right approach for that or not. I think maybe another approach that I could take is I'm going to want to cache that value, because if I need to create a context state so that I know what the board state is like, so that I can set the turn cooldown based on that board state, as in this class here. I probably don't want to have to do that every time, especially every frame, because if ultimately what's happening is this get turn cooldown needs to have a modified value, that's being called in the process method for the cards. So I don't want to do something super heavy in here all the time. So I think what I might have to do is I might have to introduce a system where I have a series of abilities that executes when the board state changes. So whenever a card gets moved or removed from the board, I need to go to any card that has like a board state contingent ability and update that and cache the value, but then exclude those abilities from being executed during the normal course of the game. So essentially it would be abilities that update their internal state based on board state changes. And if the board doesn't change, then they never get executed again. They never get updated again. I think that would be the way to do it. So let me write that down. So to do, create a new ability flow where abilities can be defined to execute on board state change rather than when cooldown is equal to 0. Cache those values. Only update them on board state change. Those values can then be read, get turn cooldown, or turn cooldown can be further cached. But I would need to, so to do exclude those board state contingent abilities from being executed during combat. To do those board state contingent abilities still need to be shown I think I have to build a much more robust system for doing this kind of stuff, but I think that's going to be useful. I think having the concept of abilities that basically only update their states when the board state changes is going to be very useful, because that unlocks a bunch of different things that I could do with the cards as well. But it just requires a little bit more effort to do right now. So what I can do is I can just commit these three things, I think. Let me write this down. So we'll give the Friar some simple damage. This here, I'm actually going to create a different branch. Contingent, let's do this. Board, contingent abilities. Create a new branch. Initial stub of contingent abilities. Let's make sure that this still works. Okay. And good morning to you, Rosebud. Sorry I didn't read your next message. Sounds like you need to differentiate between passive abilities that are always active or executed once at the beginning and active abilities that are triggered at 0 cooldown. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right, Wooius. And I still want to use the ability system that I've done. It's just that the major distinction is going to be, you know, those abilities, which are passive abilities as you call them, will only be executed when the state of the board changes. And yeah, not during combat. But they'll still be read in for the purposes of changing the card configuration or whatever. All right, so I'm gonna have to think about that. I think I have a good approach. It's just now I need to go up and like architect that whole system, and I have other things to do. Like all this stuff in the to-do list here is a lot of clerical work, no pun intended, to get the playtest ready. So this is probably gonna have to take a back seat. I do want to do that. It's just I have other things to do, like I said. But let's give this a quick playtest, see how everything's feeling. Hello, Kiwi Iwi. Nice to see you growing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. The playtest will be coming soon enough, hopefully. Maybe. This afternoon, my project is to get the actual Steam playtest build configured. I have all my automated pipelines working to publish to Steam, but I didn't realize I needed to create a separate playtest app in Steam. So I need to just modify my deploy pipeline to change all that. Shop, what do we got in here? Basilisk Eye, very powerful. Although I kind of want the dowsing rod. Upgrade a card. I'm going to upgrade the dowsing rod again. See if I can get a good alchemy. Is there an alchemy nearby? There's one here. Okay, here we go. Boom. Boom. Ooh, look at that. Dang it. It didn't carry over. Oh, wait a minute. Deal 12 damage, 50% crit chance. We could take this one. Let's get this booster. Another dowsing rod, very nice. I keep forgetting I added control click. Let's try control click. Let's go fight some chickens. Cool. That control click is very nice. I'm glad everyone bullied me into doing that. I need my board size to increase here, though. Am I gonna die? Oh, I died. Wow. It's okay. We'll get rid of this, and we'll get rid of... Get rid of this. I need some big crits, dowsing rod, thank you. I really need to increase the size of my board. Where's all the board size increases? I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. I think the only thing I can really do at this point is try to alchemize my way out of this. There we go, board size increase. No, I can't. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna just put another turn cooldown reduction on this one. Let's see if I win. I don't know, it's possible. The dowsing rod hits pretty hard, actually. Oh, no, not possible, I'm dead. Okay, I'm just gonna accept my final death. Okay, lots of balancing to do still, but the playtest is going to be a good opportunity to get some balancing feedback. Where did you land on your thought of always allowing the alchemizability? I'm going to do that, yeah. I'm not going to do it for this playtest, but I think for the playtest after, I will have a playtest shortly after this upcoming playtest, where the alchemy is always available, and we'll get feedback on that. I can just imagine all the little sounds and interactive sounds as I watch you play. Yeah, I hope you like it. I have a lot of sound effects in place. There are probably going to be some sound effects missing in the playtest build. Again, it's going to be a very rough alpha. Basically, the game as you see it right now with some sound effects and music is how it plays. The playtest is going to play. So, you know. Is the upcoming playtest open, or do we need to sign up? So I'll be launching a Patreon at the same time. If you subscribe to one of the Patreon tiers, any of the Patreon tiers, you will get early access to the playtest, which will be invite only. I'll be sending out Steam keys for the playtest. But after a period of time, maybe 1 or 2 weeks of early access for Patreon members, it'll be open to the public for a week or so, so you can try it as much as you want. And similarly for the Discord, there will be Patreon member exclusive Discord channels in the server, but the Discord will be open to the public generally. So the Patreon members will just get a little bit of more exclusive perks, but everyone will have access to everything ultimately in one way or another. The other Patreon perks, the highest tier Patreon membership will give you unlimited access to all of my course content, and will also give you, if you want, credits in the Alchemortis credits for when the game releases. So yeah, that's how it's gonna go. I'm excited to get all that launched. I just have so much work to do. I have so much work to do. Okay, anyway. That's going to be it for the stream today. Like I said, a lot of the work that I need to do is off-stream stuff, configurations, and build pipelines and all that stuff. So I got to go get going on that so I can get the playtest ready for you guys. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining. I appreciate your support, as always. And Alchemortis, the Steam page is live for it, so you can wishlist it. It's the very first line in the description below. So check that out. Add it to your wish list. I'd appreciate that. I've already got 150 wish lists, and the game is basically not close to complete, so that's great. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. I appreciate all of your support, and I will see you back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, bye-bye everyone.